Did you know if you drop a like and subscribe in the next 5 seconds, nothing will happen but it will put a giant smile on my face? Fortnite Chapter 3 Season 3 has officially been out for just a few days now, and despite all of the brand new map changes, the brand new battle pass that has been implemented, and just all the content within this initial update, what if I told you that there's so much more being leaked or pouring out by the day to do with what's upcoming in hotfixes without even a downtime update, one of the 5 that data miners have revealed before this season even started, going all the way up to version 21.50 as we're in 21.00 right now. And believe it or not, all of this information ranges from new vehicles, even though ballers have just returned now which need fuel, to even one of the best looking free skins that Fortnite have just surprised us with, and the Final Klombo, or the location of this mystery wildlife that everybody thinks is completely gone, but you're gonna have to stick around until the end of the video to find out all the intel about when Klombo will be coming back as wildlife. Today's video will be doing you guys a huge favour in terms of upcoming content, so one favour you can do for me in return, as it's 100% free to do and literally takes 2 seconds, is to enter code FM1 right now inside the Fortnite item shop. You guys already know this not only puts a giant smile on my face, but cheers up my pug Gus too, who's been kinda sad about the fact he knows that 70% of all eyes watching right now are not subscribed. With that said, hit the big red button right now as we're on our final push to 2.5 million or 2.5 million subscribers, and after all it only benefits you as I do give different subscribers every single day. So if you ever want to receive something, simply make sure you subscribe to the channel with all notifications turned on, and then comment your Epic Games ID down below and let me know what you'd like to receive, so perhaps you could be gifted like this on screen in front of hundreds of thousands of eyes to see in the next video. But with that said, now enough messing around, we've got a ton of crazy leaks and information pouring out, and the return of Klombos, so make sure of course you don't go anywhere.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm not, I'm sitting on my
Don't
back.
go anywhere.
Okay, so to start out with, first of all today, something amazing that's just happened that you guys definitely will be happy about considering the new battle pass released, but it was kinda hard to level up even though I bought all 100 levels already. As you can see, Hypex stated all accolades XP have just been doubled, eliminations, discovering POIs, opening chests, etc, meaning most of the XP we get for doing things in-game has doubled, so yeah, it's going to be twice as fast to level up now from what it was on the first 2 days, I believe. And even though this doesn't affect me as much in terms of unlocking Darth Vader, because, well, I literally have him unlocked right now, I'm already level 100 by buying all the tasers previously mentioned, despite us getting superstars like in any other season for exceeding level 100 and getting all the way to level 200, we may need to level up even further than level 200 this season, as Sheena stated the following: superstars will be unlockable in 18 days. Surprisingly, there are 4 hidden pages in the bonus rewards section, which for those that don't know are the 3 different variants of each battle pass skin, the superstar stages anyways, getting all the way up until the last one, which for instance last season was the gold styles like Gold Doctor Strange, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what colour schemes or theme they go with this season, and not just for 3 styles of each battle pass skin for exceeding level 100 and getting up to a certain level which we don't know yet, but now of course 4 styles for each skin. And speaking of these superstars that are going to be added for exceeding level 100, which will be available for the first time on June 3rd, 2022, believe it or not, Epic Games accidentally leaked 2 of them already, one for the Eevee skin and then this other battle pass skin. And speaking of Fortnite and what they've done, but not on accident, actually revealed right now for one of the most popular POIs in Fortnite history, Tilted Towers, and what's going to be happening with it in Chapter 3 as a whole. As you can see, they tweeted, time to rebuild Tilted, and this time you, the architect, design your own building to be constructed in the new Tilted Towers POI, and get ready to submit your design once we open up submissions. So yes, it's 100% confirmed now that the block is returning from its initial appearance in Chapter 1 Season 4 on the Chapter 1 or first island of 3 that we've received. And for those wondering about what the article states, it basically just, announces furthermore that the block 2.0 is finally coming to Fortnite very soon, and also on top of that the criteria of what they're looking for if you'd like to have a go at building your own location to replace Tilted Towers itself. Of course, now we not only have to think about the normal build modes being normal Fortnite Battle Royale, as ultimately the slogan for when it came out is the battle is building, but now we have the whole zero build dynamic introduced last season in Chapter 3 Season 2, and if Fortnite removing what ultimately separated it from other Battle Royale games being zero build wasn't enough, believe it or not, they're adding a 3rd dynamic to the game, which I only think will be effective in zero build based game modes, is, as you can see Hypex states, a first person mode in Fortnite. Supposedly this update, Epic began working on some stuff about first person camera mode, but there's no other info about it as of yet, and it looks like it's still in early development. Would work really well for the zero build modes, of course, I'm guessing, because if you're trying to build, you're just going to see a huge wall covering the entirety of in front of you. Since the beginning of Fortnite Battle Royale in itself, people have created their own concepts of what first person mode would look like and gameplay forms which are seen in the background on screen right now, which I think are really cool. And despite the overall theme of what we're seeing now being a cool, chilled vibe or theme of the season, as we now have reintroduced the baller vehicles, which were very controversial upon them first being added in Chapter 1 Season 8 around the time of the World Cup, as they were largely used as the meta during this or in the lead up to it. In terms of adding new vehicles or content or dynamics to the game just after Chapter 3 Season 3 has released, Epic Games aren't stopping anytime soon, as despite us now being able to ride animals around the island, Hypex stated upcoming motorcycle vehicle. Epic Games began working on motorcycles recently which use the same animations as riding animals. It has 2 seats plus you can boost and drift. Epic also added summer surfboards back, but we don't know if it's for BR or creative yet. Honestly, from riding around on the wildlife like on this boar right here for the first time, I got the inclination that they would be adding some sort of motorcycle vehicle or bicycle in Fortnite. And with it pretty much being confirmed they're upcoming now, of course it's always nice to know that we've seen it way in advance in loading screens such as this, which we got for the Fortnite crew. As you can see, there is a motorcycle vehicle, or perhaps our first look in kind of drawing or artistic cartoon form within Fortnite. I don't know whether we'll be able to destroy structures like we can with cars or trucks with the cow catchers on the front, but speaking of doing this, of course, if you didn't know about the 5 trillion HP cave, of which there's secrets behind which we're going to be revealing, this can be instantly destroyed despite us having to wait days upon days of swinging our harvesting tool as a community by simply attaching the cow catcher and driving into it. Upon revealing everything behind here, there's not only mass loot and heals, but the lonely henchmen as NPCs. Sadly, no Klombo eggs or Klombos reside behind here, although I think it would have been a nice touch to have some eggs that have perhaps hatched or just the eggshells themselves, implying that Klombos are, yes, going to be wildlife once again based off what we're going to be mentioning in just a second. But speaking of Klombos, of course, before we do get onto that, believe it or not, the Klombo skull, how we know the wildlife has been eliminated, for now anyways, is because a Klombo skull is where one of the mounts was from the previous season, where Klombos seem to be hibernating underneath, but yeah, it's simply just a decayed down Klombo and the skull remains. Also, for those sad about lightsabers disappearing with the appearance of Darth Vader now in Fortnite literally using one in the event that we literally just saw for the collision, it looks like they're not only going to be returning, well, one is anyways, but insanely buffed, as Hypex states when Darth Vader is on the map you will get 2000 XP for each time you eliminate him, and also his lightsaber is a mythic which is throwable like we see in the trailer, and E11 blasters are set to return too. Honestly, I don't really rate the E11 blasters, but this is definitely going to be fun to use in Fortnite, throwing a lightsaber at people. What's also insanely cool is not only are we getting a brand new celebration pack for the PlayStation Plus members soon, but it's actually going to contain a free skin this time around, so make sure to claim the current one now which contains all of these rewards, as you won't be able to get them again once this pack is available, basically replacing it. I'm kind of surprised we got a version of Bright Bomber for a PlayStation Celebration pack, as typically the skins are completely unique in terms of their design or character model. But speaking of free skins, things don't just stop there, as with the release of the Fortnite x Marvel Zero War comics, finally, as we now have Season 3 released, and we've led up to the date of which the first issue is releasing, believe it or not, the first free reward we can redeem via a code on the comic book itself is Spider-Man Zero. Here's what it looks like in asset form that Fortnite revealed anyways or put out there across the internet, and then clever people in the community and data miners have managed to pull him into reward screen form, locker early, and also gameplay, so yeah, get a good look at this guy. In my opinion, he's kind of a crossover of Spider-Man and Deadpool, but obviously Fortnite's take on what Spider-Man could look like in their universe, as it's a multiverse now. Who knows, perhaps as more of these comic books are released telling us about the storyline, it basically shapes him being involved in Fortnite's lore entirely in this particular reality. And speaking of this Fortnite reality, we have now the reality tree, which supposedly is going to be a progressive map change, changing throughout the season as a whole, which seems to be kind of a heart of the Fortnite island, as roots can be seen literally of this all around the map coming out from the ground. One final insanely juicy piece of information before we move on to Klombos, when they're going to be returning, and how we kind of know this despite the skull residing at the bottom of what was once Covert Cavern. For those that don't know, Fortnite x Juice WRLD has been in the talks for quite a while now, considering Juice WRLD's manager came out stating he's going to be having a talk with Epic Games last season, but now as you can see, Firemonkey basically broke down in this tweet. Recently, Juice WRLD's manager retweeted the new season launch post from Fortnite. As we previously knew, Juice WRLD's manager was going to meet with Epic Games for a potential Fortnite collab. While it may not mean anything, I thought I'd mention it, and obviously the tweet he did retweet was almost time to start the party, implying, well, this season's not only going to be a party, but what usually is at a party, music, right? And it seems like a giant concert and festival as a whole portrayed in the trailer, so maybe we're getting a Juice WRLD based concert. Honestly, that would be so incredibly cool to see, but the coolest part of the video is now as we're going to be discussing Klombos and how I kind of think or project they're going to return. Of course, for those that don't know, in Chapter 3 Season 2 we got this loading screen basically kind of hinting that Klombos, or some of them, would be eliminated as wildlife despite us getting the quests, showing that they were on the island but just hibernating, with not only the mounds appearing, but Klombo is returning, which are also now still on the island as consumables we can pick and eat. And despite this skull from the loading screen now being seen above the island's surface instead of underneath it, buried like everything on the image, also teasing the return of ballers very early on, and with it being confirmed that they've come to harm's way if it wasn't already obvious from the skull being present here or visible in-game from the fact Tilted Towers has been harmed. As Epic Games stated, if anything happens to the Klombos, they'd have to wipe out the entirety of Tilted, and it looks like they're doing that now, replacing it with the Block 2.0. What you guys need to not forget about is the fact that Hypex before this season release, literally in one of the final weeks, which didn't get too much attention or was talked about too often, was this tweet where he basically goes over that Epic Games are working on Klombos returning as wildlife, but in a different way to what we previously saw. They can now be eliminated, and not only that, we get an incentive for doing so by dropping massive amount of loot to literally fill up and arm an entire squad almost. With that said, I don't know what's worse, Klombos returning, but the fact that they can be eliminated, or seeing a Klombo skull as one come to harm's way now on the Fortnite island. Either way, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below in the comments, and drop a like in today's video if you enjoyed, but make sure you subscribe to the channel, most importantly with all notifications turned on, so that you don't miss any future uploads. But speaking of other uploads, in terms of where you go now, make sure to interact with anything on screen, but hopefully I can catch you guys more specifically in that very next video I do post on the channel.